Hey YouTube, Peterbilt Knife Guy. Today we're going to be doing a follow-up on the video I posted yesterday that got mixed reviews, but mostly good. Basically, I kind of went off onto a rant again about buck knives, and yeah, it kind of went sideways. Too much fire water, if you know what I mean. I put that video out late. But some people left some good comments, and I kind of wanted to address a couple things, so let's get after it. First off, honesty in the YouTube community. There needs to be more honesty in the YouTube community. People look for us for honest reviews and our opinions before a purchase. And I believe that we owe it to the customers or people who are looking to buy knives, or if you were trying to frickin' sell a knife. A lot of knife channels come to mind who, you know, basically are supported by a knife company or multiple knife companies, and they don't say a single bad thing about the knives ever. And it irks me. It seems very personally beneficial for them. You know, they would rather not piss off somebody who's giving them knives to and then just put crap out on the internet that never goes away and could literally influence somebody to buy something that they probably shouldn't because a dishonest knife review. So that's number one. Number two, I did get flack yesterday because I had the Benchmade versus the Buck 119, because the Buck 119 is a $80 knife now and this is a $200 knife. So let's just take this guy and set it up there. So for people who are mad about that, now we're on equal playing fields. $200 knife, $200 knife. Number three, I have a cheat sheet, by the way. I think I said that already. Number three, I said boomers. I called out the boomers. I thought it was kind of funny, but some people took it as humor. Some people took it as an insult. I say the dying generation. The generation, there's going to be a time where the generation that grew up with these knives, and that includes me almost too, because I grew up with these knives at the hardware store. You know, I remember being able to buy guns at Walmart. I remember the knives that they had at Walmart were bucks. I remember the knives at the hardware store were bucks and westerns, and I remember Kmart used to sell decent knives. You can go buy a western knife at Kmart and it was a freaking awesome knife. I grew up with this stuff, but you know, so it's like, but I've seen it not change, especially in the buck aspect. They've stuck to their guns on just using what used to be a higher quality product and now is bottom of the barrel line product. I mean, cheap knife companies are coming out with better steel than the 420 HC that Buck loves to use. So I would just wish that they would upgrade their stuff. Let's see here. Personal bias in the YouTube community. There's a lot of YouTubers out there who, you know, and I get it. If you're doing it for fun and you have a YouTube channel and you're showing the knives that you love, that's great. But remember, you're also influencing people that are looking into these things, and just because it's a perfect knife for you doesn't mean it's a perfect knife. You know, the Buck 119 for example, you know, is it a decent knife? Sure. Is there better ones out there? Absolutely. And you know, for somebody who's enamored with the Buck 119, you know, and they watch your channel, they're not going to know about its downfalls or this guy. You know, I mean, nobody. Anybody go on freaking YouTube right now and try to find a video of somebody who has a different opinion of buck than they're just amazing. It's not there, because most of the people who do buck knives are buck fanboys. I call you buckaroos. You buckaroos out there who are I'm not trying to be offensive, I'm trying to joke, guys. You buck guys are you're stuck on what you love, and it doesn't make it great. You know, it makes it good for you. You're not saying this is just good as a collectible. You're telling people this is a freaking great knife, and they're not. They're bottom of the barrel anymore. They have, I mean, what's so fancy even about a Buck 110? It uses brass because brass is expensive. You could probably recycle that knife and get more value out of it than what it is. It is a old school traditional pocket knife that is cool for a collection, but for EDC purposes, very few people use them, and those people are the diehard people that when they die, Buck is gonna frickin' die with them. Woo, getting on a rant today. Number 5, I did receive a question. It says, why do you buy buck knives if you don't like them? Makes 0 sense to me. I never buy anything I don't like. Well, first off, I bought this and a buck 110 to do reviews on YouTube with, because every freaking I watch hundreds, almost every freaking buck 119 video out there, and there's not a single freaking person out there that says a bad thing about it. And that's not because it doesn't have bad things about it. That's because there's a bunch of biased YouTube biased YouTube reviewers out there who are putting their own personal freaking opinions on it and not saying that, like this guy right here. There's not a single freaking review on YouTube about this knife that says it's a pile of garbage. Now, when I say pile of garbage, is it really a pile of garbage? No. But does it have its problems? Absolutely. Nobody on freaking YouTube is saying it's problems. Nobody. They all think it's great. But I'll tell you right now, for a knife this big, you do not need a hollow grind that comes this far back. It makes this edge so unstable that it is just not a trustworthy knife out in the field. You will wreck this knife if you actually use it other than just being a safe queen or a collectible. How do I know? Watch my videos. I was doing very light stuff with it, and it's not the heat treat. Everybody's like, oh, you must have got a bad one. No, I didn't get a bad one. I just used it. If people actually use their freaking knives, instead of coming out here and talking like they use their knives, they would know that something like this is much better than something like this when it comes to hard use. And no, this is not a food prep knife. You do not need a big knife like this with a freaking guard for food prep. You need a kitchen knife. That's it. You don't need this. Will this work? Sure. But will this work? Absolutely. Will either of these do as good as a kitchen knife? No, not at all. You need something like this for food prep. This is $14 at Ace Hardware. It's 1075 steel. This is all you need for food prep. And it will outperform both of these. I love this knife. This will still outperform it in food prep. Hands down, all day long. You don't need this for food prep. You do not need this for camp chores. This is not something for chopping. It doesn't even have the balance for chopping. It's just not that great. This knife falls into one category, collectible. That's it. If you want a collectible knife, there you go. It's not a woodsman's knife. It's not a hunting knife. It is not a bushcraft knife. Now, will it do certain things in those? Sure, but that's not what it is. Anyways, that's let's see where I got lost here. It says, why do I own buck knives? Well, like I said, I do for reviews. Honestly, I didn't know better. When I bought this, I've never handled one, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty knife. It's good to look at, and it disappointed me. It disappointed me big time. Where I've done stuff with other knives, I've done stuff with the Harbor Freight version of this that made this thing cry home to mama. And it didn't take the damage that this thing did. And you're talking a $25 knife at Harbor Freight. That's a knockoff with cheap steel. So I didn't know better. And also, I have a YouTube knife channel. So people love buck knives. I wanted to put some buck knives out there. And I wanted to give my honest opinion. I'm going to give you my honest opinion about everything I have. Another thing, too. Everybody will say, oh, Buck takes a wicked edge. 420 HC, Paw Boss heat treat. Yeah, yup, that's sharp. That takes a good edge. Okay, but here's, oh, wait a minute, that's sharp too. Wait a minute, that takes a good edge also. Hold on. Here's our tactical butter cutter. Oh my goodness. So, is taking a good edge really a quality of a knife? If I can make a butter knife do the same thing? I don't think so. I would much rather, I mean, I've sharpened a spatula to where you can shave your arm with it, and do that with paper. So being able to take a good edge, any knife can do that. Any knife. Unless it has, actually I take that back, even if it doesn't have zero heat treat. I do not think butter knives are heat treated. No, it picked up a bend. Okay, this is not a heat treated blade, but yet it will still slice paper just as good as either one of these. So quit saying that 420 HC takes a good edge. Everything takes a good edge if you know how to sharpen. There's the key point, kids. All right, let's see. That was number 6. Let's go to number 7. People get mad when I show points against a long-held belief that something is good, aka bucks and 1911s. I understand the nostalgia put around these things. I understand that people grew up with these. I grew up with these too. But the problem is where other companies have started climbing the ladder to get better, Buck said, you know what? We're cool with what we're doing back in the 80s, and just flatlined from there on out. They have not done anything. And if they do add upgrades to this stuff, let's say you get the 420 HC and the micarta handles. Well, you're gonna pay through the frickin' nose for it, and it ain't any better of a knife than this. Now, it has some better steel, so maybe just a little bit better, but it still has a hollow grind, it still has a stick tang. It's not that much better. But, you know, as compared to something like this with a flat grind, a saber grind, you know, or a full flat grind with a full tang, this thing will go through the ringer and back. I mean, even this guy, okay, look how thick this thing is. Look how freaking absurdly thick that handle is, right? It's stupid. But yet the weak point of this knife is not in here. It's this right here. It's that hollow grind. That hollow grind cannot handle hard use tasks. It is strictly a slicer. And if you just need a slicer, go get yourself an Ontario kitchen knife, because you're gonna save a lot of freaking money. Let's see, we were at number 7, let's go number 8. Yeah, also too, my opinions might make me untouchable in the knife community. Not to toot my own horn, but I just hit 15K today, and I've already surpassed 15K, and I've been doing this for 7 months. So either people like my opinions, which I've stuck to the whole time, or I just make awesome shorts. I don't frickin' know. But also too, not a single person has invited me to do a YouTube short, or not a YouTube short, do a YouTube live. And you know why? It's because I have opinions that they don't like. It is what it is. You know what? Knives companies won't touch me either, and that's fine too, because Ned Foss, they sent me a garbage knife, and I'm gonna give them a garbage review on top of it. Because why would you send, as a knife company, if you are gonna send a knife reviewer to put your stuff out online for everybody to see, wouldn't you send them the good one? Wouldn't you send them something that, like, you personally did a quality check on? At least, at bare minimum, if you're gonna lie to people and sell them shitty products, send me the better one. At least that I can review the better one. But if you're gonna send me garbage and I have to pretend like it's good, it ain't freaking good. But anyways, just kind of this is my third take of this video. If anybody's still here, I appreciate everybody for watching. I know this is not what everybody likes to hear, but you know what? I'm the channel on YouTube that will say it. I have nothing to lose. I mean, I love my subs, but I have a job. You know, YouTube's not my job. I do this as a hobby, and I feel it is my personal responsibility to give honest opinions and honest reviews about things. For example, my Sword Von Temsky, you know, I love that knife, but I'll tell you right now, I don't like the clip point on it, and I'll tell you right now, I hated the guard on it, and the handle's blocky. I had to put leather around it, you know. That's a very expensive knife, a $270 knife, but I still pointed out the flaws in it. I didn't just go around gobbling it, you know, like, oh, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. No, it needed work. This, for example, this sheath is kind of garbage. I had to make my own freaking clip out of an SE clip for it. Comfort-wise, it's there, but I'd have got rid of this. I have no interest in this. I'm not stabbing people. I don't need that, you know? So there's things that I don't like. Honestly, when you're choking back up on it, that'll dig into your hand, you know? So nothing's perfect. And as YouTube creators, we need to be honest with the people that watch us, because the people that watch us are looking to us for insight, opinions, and reality. And if you're not giving them those things, why are you even doing this? Thanks for watching.